Hello there everybody and welcome to episode 16 of my tutorial series for Dwarf Fortress. In this one I am building a nice and tidy fortress with you with lots of explanations in between. In the last couple of episodes we have grown to a quite sizable amount of people, and as usual, since this is a Let's Play series, I cannot really foresee what will happen, but I have a few topics on my mind. What I want to dive into deeper today is I want to create some things that are, or I want to go a little bit deeper into the whole decoration and wealth creation system of the game. And basically, I'm a little bit in the mood for treasure hunting today. So my goal for today's episode will be to set up a few more valuable gemstones and show you how you can increase the value of items even more, because gem setting is not the only thing that we can go for. There are even more ways and methods to increase the value of items, and the thing is, the deeper you go down this rabbit hole, the more value you need to stack up on items. Right now we just have to please the needs of a baron, but one day we have to please the needs of way more influential people, and therefore we need better items. So in that regard, we're going to do something interesting here. We're going to set up another metalsmith and a crafts dwarf. So let's see. Crafts dwarf, I'm not so sure if he'll work out as intended, but about the smithy will be interesting, I promise. So we already know that we can decorate items with fancy gemstones. We're already doing this, and the solution here is working pretty okay. The thing here is we can also do the same thing with the crafts dwarf workshop. We can, where was it again? For example, decorate stuff with bone. So I really hope that I have some bone lying around somewhere. Can't remember where we got. Oh, we got shell. Wonderful. So we're going to link this crazy workshop here now with our refuse stockpile. This is not really super efficient. I strongly recommend you to do it more efficient than I do it here, but you get the idea. So this guy is now taking from the refuse stockpile and from the furniture stockpile, and that's how we want it to be. You can, of course, also go for other decorations, but let's check out if this works. As you see here, checkmark went in. And this is, like I said, a pretty hefty thing. And these here will not accept any general work orders. This is really important. Actually, this one shouldn't be doing this either, because this is a specialty workshop, so to say. We're only doing crazy things here, and the only time that something will get done here will be when I want it to. So as you see here, we got 100 dwarf books now. Let's see what the decoration will do. We have some more migrants. We've hit 150 people, so it's about time that we go downstairs and set up some more places, some more sleeping places, and here we go. So actually it does increase the value a tad bit. Here well, it ain't visible, but you get the idea. So what we're now doing here at this workshop here is we're going to tell it to decorate with shell, and it's gotta do that daily, It is just a very minuscule improvement of value here, but you could now also go one step further and tell him to decorate with bone every day. But really important here is only if there is a certain amount of that stuff available, We don't want to plunder our stockpiles for the moody dwarves. Goes the same here. We should really limit that. But there's really no reason not to. This is good. This is a small but effective measure. And basically, what's important to note here is decorations are acting as a multiplier, not as an additive. So what I'm trying to say is the more valuable the statue, the more impact has a piece of shell on it. So let's get back to it. We weren't done yet. So the metalsmith's shop can do a similar thing. So we're linking this now to the stockpile here. And we're linking this bad boy here to the bar stockpile. And now we can do studding. So you get to select with which metal you want to stud. That means you also get to select what kind of value increase you want to do. So let's stud things with bronze, but only if we have enough of that. So let's see. Should go into the job at some point. Don't want people here. As long as we have bronze, but I do remember that I produced some in the last episode. Or so I thought. Ah, well, so we're going to... Here you can also select how this is supposed to look like, but that was not what I had in mind. We're going to stud with copper. Come on, let's do this. It's actually quite an easy way to do. Okay, but basically you already get the idea. We're going to improve the value of these. So that is one part of the mechanics. One last part that I want to put up here is going to be another jeweler's workshop, which will be a tad bit more exclusive, you know. Oh yeah, the Monster Hunter. I love these. So in the time between the episodes, I was as busy as my siltstone blocks allowed me to. Let's place down a few more beds here so we can give those folks some living space. Also worth mentioning, while we're growing here into our new pair of shoes, we really need to put up another tavern and another dining hall downstairs here. Or personally, I do like to do that. I like to have a bit of a larger amount of infrastructure available for my folks, and not only at one point bundled up. So here we got a couple of extra bedrooms. Don't forget to assign them every now and then. Okay. So let's see if these things were set up. And now we have to go for a treasure hunt, because you know our current stockpiles of jewels are really meager. The thing is, the game is pretty clear with that. The more valuable things, if you want to have them, all you need to do is go down below. So we're going to go for a little bit of delving, and that's the next part that I want to go for here today. So we're looking here now for specific valuable pockets of gemstone. Here we go. That's one of these. So, as you see here, there's a black diamond, sapphire, obsidian. So these things are, well, relatively dangerous, you know. So we're going to go and let's see if that trick actually still works. So we're going to smooth this tile. Oh, they want a ranger guild. So it's really good that we're amping up the value of things here. So one thing at a time. Your rangers got to wait. So these pockets here, they are littered all over the caverns. You will find them everywhere, basically. The thing is, as you see here, there's damp tiles. So the game tells me that there is something off with that thing. So what you can do here is, I have now smoothened it, and now we're carving a fortification into it. And this way, we can look inside. Sometimes inside these things are really vicious monsters, and you don't want to mess around with them. The easiest way to make sure that this doesn't happen, that I found so far, was to carve in a fortification, because fortifications are acting like windows. And, well, if the monster inside is capable of ranged attacks, you're still screwed. But here, what's happening is quite simple. There was just a bit of water in there, and fortifications let fluids through, but not but not any monsters, any creatures whatsoever. So if there would have been a monster inside, we would have known, and now we can plunder those sweet, sweet gemstones. So these are the most valuable gemstones that I know of in the game. So Sapphire, Black Diamond, all these names, they stand for super valuable stuff. And you can only find them underground. Sometimes you can find them in your mining ops, but that's highly unlikely. Most of the time you find them in the caverns, and I personally think it's one of the big reasons why you want to go for the caverns is digging for these pockets. There's a lot of elkbird around, but you don't need to worry about elkbird. They are perfectly docile. They don't do anything. They're getting scared if they see humans. So the 1,000 dwarf bucks here are a hefty over exaggeration of the value, but nevertheless these gemstones are worth a lot. So what I'm going to do here now is I'm going to set up a exclusive thing here. So gems, we're only going to put in cut gems here. Black diamonds, we saw these. We also saw that we had sapphires. So it is a bit of a pain to set up everything accordingly, but basically check out what you find down there and then set up the filter accordingly. It'll all make sense in a hot minute, don't worry. So we got the sapphires here, and we got the black diamonds here. So we configured black diamonds and sapphires. Brilliant. So the thing is, there are just so freaking many gemstones that exist in the game that it's hard to know them from the scratch, which are valuable and which are not. So the next step that we're taking here is the black diamonds, the cut black diamonds. And the cut sapphires are going to get excluded here. So this leads to all the super valuable gemstones being bunkered here, and the less valuable ones being stored here. So this jeweler's workshop now will be also dismantled from the rest of the things here, and he will now take only from this gem stockpile and from this furniture stockpile. The idea behind it now is clear that this is the workshop if I want to decorate a high profile item, and this one is just my everyday thing. So let's see, we got here menaces with spikes of exceptionally worked pond, turtle shell, and copper. So these got studded with copper now. The brilliant thing about studding is it does not cost fuel. It just consumes a bit of fuel, a bit of material, like the bars, but it does not need any charcoal or the like. That's why I personally like this so much, because it is a very, very nice way of decorating your stuff without overburdening yourself, you know. So let's check this out. The sapphire. It's been cut. And it should get dumped now here. Here, Briolette cut black diamonds. So we can now go one step further even, and you know, let's go one step further. So I'm going to put up another filter here for furniture, and I enable everything first and disable the types. The statues again are what I'm after, but now I'm disabling all the metals except for, let's say, silver. That's the most valuable metal that I got hands on so far. So all the statues of silver are allowed on this stockpile. And now I'm going over to the other stockpile, and I am, just like you might have thought already, excluding silver. So when there is a statue, we have to make sure that this one is taken from the furniture stockpiles too, very important. So this makes sure that no silver statues will ever land in this stockpile, just like that. And if you use the system like I do here, it is just very important that this jeweler's workshop gets linked to both of them. So this jeweler's workshop needs to be reconfigured now like that. So this way, this configuration makes it so that this workshop will only decorate statues that lie in here with the gems from here and from here. So this one has access to the very exclusive ones and to the cheap ones, whereas this one has only access to the cheap gems. So with that kind of filtering, I can now let my cheap statues get decorated by cheap stuff, and the costly statues get only decorated by costly stuff. Don't forget to link the other add-on forge thingies to that one too. So the Metalsmith's Forge is now allowed to decorate the high-profile stuff too. And let's make sure that the same goes for this one. So let's put that thing into motion by creating ourselves a silver statue or two. So... and then we have to go through this whole thing with the guilds. So let's make that happen. Silver statue. Most important thing in the fortress. And let's do some more bronze bars. Sorry for not automating metal production as of yet. I meant to do a part of about tree farming and the like. Probably before I do this, but never mind. So, we got the stuff going. The silver statue is being made. Let's head back to the city and let's check out the temple that I assigned the last time. So, the Cathedral of Treasuries is still not fully staffed out. Remember last episode? We promised them to build a temple here. So let's hold a promise by setting up the bauxite statues that we were decorating the whole time. These are by now at a somewhat decent value. I think they weren't that super high value. And now we already have detailed parts of it. What the hell has happened here? Well, okay. I don't know how that came together, but whatever. So that's one thing we can do. Let's see how the silver statue's condition is. Here. So... oh, that was the wrong thingy here. You know what? We're going to make that statue here. That's actually a lot easier. Or wait a sec. This won't work because that thing has no access to fuel. Yeah, well, you know, when you have a when you have some configurations like these, sorry, the comments sound totally distracted me. When you have a configuration like this forge here is unable to forge anything if there is no fuel in that stockpile, and the fuel's all in that stockpile, so nothing's gonna happen here. So a Mace Dwarf is fighting with troglodytes. That's because I have invited all those monster hunters to do their thing, you know. So let's see. Did I forget some burrow? No. So, I'm a tad bit confused why my jobs are not being assigned after being the most important thing in the fortress. So whenever that happens, you know, there's one thing you can do. And check out the condition of your dwarf. So let's check what Zon is doing. You know, there's always something you can do about that. Hey, I said I'm sorting you by name, not by profession. Behave, game. So the soap maker is busy socializing. All right. So why is he not assigned Smith? Huh, alright, that explains a lot. So he was not allowed to do this. The whole forge here was forbidden. Jeez. Yeah, sometimes, you know, sometimes small mistakes fall into your setups, and you know, So let's see if Kip Tunurid is allowed to do his thing. Yup, he is. Alrighty, brilliant. Okay, so now things are finally getting done. What a relief. So the more valuable items are currently not that important. I am again working ahead of my time, but it is the idea of this entire series, of course, and therefore, well, you know, we got ourselves now a silver statue of blood gnats. Yuck. Jeez. Get some taste, man. So, there we go. The smeltering seems to be of a low priority in general in my fortress. So let's see if the delivery system is working as intended. The statue should end up here eventually. And by the time now, let's just order a couple of new statues at the same time, you know? So, statues are for me one of my favorite ways of getting some value into my fortress. Because they are, you know, you can get lots of these dirty cheap, and with all the decorations that you can do, there is a pretty high value in it. And if you specify the image, you can also, for example, relate these things to something in particular. Let's relate all the new statues to our current fortress, for example. You can do a lot of funny things, like dedicating the statues to certain gods or to certain people. There's numerous things that you can do. And as you see here, mission accomplished. So next step, and we're encrusting furniture with cut gems. And you can, as you see here, encrust furniture also with cut glass and polished stones. You need to polish the stones first here. I am not going to go any deeper into this because you surely understood by now what we're doing here, you know. Where did the silver statue go, though? Ah, you see, it's already in the processing here. So the whole setup works. We're getting stuff done here in a appreciable amount of time. So the only problem that you will have now in the future is to acquire the necessary materials for high value decorations, you know. What we did here was quite simple. You can also, if you are scanning the caverns for these things, I recommend you to have the mining tool on, because sometimes you can just see them by the look of the damp tiles around and all the like. So let's see if we can find another treasure pocket. Oh yeah, this one looks... Yeah, here we go. So, yeah, this is pretty far away from my starting point, you know? So probably let's look for something more accessible. There's always danger involved when you go too far away from your starting position, because the thing is, you only get listed and shown the baddies that you actually really know about, you know. But whatever, we're going to brave that risk. So here you see we have a warm obsidian wall. So let's do this like that. So here you could now go either from below there, but it is quite a dangerous thing. Sometimes there's magma in there. So what I personally prefer to do is we're going to go upstairs with that. So there we go. Because if there is magma inside that thing, it's going to be quite lethal for the person opening up that pocket. And this is surely no fun. So instead we go upstairs. And now we have access to this area. And here, this is the centerpiece. So here we're going to dig a channel now. And if there is magma below, we see it. So now we know that this thing is a magma pocket. So the next step is going to be a tad bit more dangerous, but it should work out just fine. So let's see, we're going to dig it out. Well, the cool thing is we can actually do really cool shenanigans here. So we're going downstairs here. And we're just going to dig something like that. You know, magma behaves just like water. It will evaporate if there is a low amount of magma on one spot. So we're going to crack that thing open safely. I'm quite happy that we had a hot pocket and a wet pocket in the same run. That's pretty good. So this is the safe way of opening these, and this is also the safe way of acquiring these materials. Keep in mind though, there is one thing that you need to take care of, and that's when monsters are down there. If they can't fly, this can really ruin your day. So the one method that you can go for is build a window and install it on the floor. I'm going to experiment around with that myself to demonstrate it at another opportunity. So this is not 100% safe, because if the monster inside is a talented climber or a flyer, that thing will just climb out of the pit. So generally said, this is a risky endeavor, and whenever you do this, have your military folks on your hand, because they are really, really important in that regard, you know. So, the guild hall will be done, don't you worry, don't you worry, I haven't forgotten you, I haven't forgotten you. So, really important when you do magma chambers, everything inside a magma area shall be forbidden. Next step, we're going to put a piece of floor on that thing. So let's use a piece of dirt for that. Don't want to be seeing anybody down there. And the last step now, we're punching a hole into that thing. We might be losing, or wait a sec. Oh, I don't want to lose anything here. So we're going to punch the channel in here because I don't want to... See, this is an obsidian wall, and fluids, they can flow diagonally. I'm not 100% sure if magma destroys gemstones or not, but I didn't want to make any experiments here. So now we are just ought to wait until that here has dried up, and then we can extract them. So star sapphire, yellow diamond, clear diamond, and star ruby. So let's see if we can, if I was able to keep these in my head. So... oh yeah, I did a mistake with that configuration. See, already wrong. So we of course have to exclude all the other materials, otherwise that won't work. So have we already decorated these with brutally valuable gemstones? No, sorry about that, guys. I'm truly sorry. Of course, silver must be the only allowed material. So. Well, it's fine. This way we all can see how things can go if we misplay them and how to correct them. Actually, not bad. So, the Cathedral of Treasuries is now valuable enough to recognize priesthood, and once that's happened, you can assign a priest there. I'm personally not sure yet if assigning a priest in these has actually a beneficial value or anything. Let me know if you know. And, yeah. I personally always do, because like I often said, I'm a role player at heart, and you know, this guild hall or this temple is not, or the temple's not done until there is a proper priest standing in front of it, you know. So let's put the Rangers Guild Hall in here. It's up to you where you put down these things. And let's make sure the expansion of our city is proceeding. So... as usual, I will do as much of this off camera as possible, you know? So let's check back on our dudes here. Ah yeah, okay, the filtering has been done successfully. I just don't see any of the super valuable gemstones here. But here the object menaces with spikes of sapphire. So that worked out. And, well, since we haven't mined out the more valuable things yet, it's all fine. We just have to put up a filter when we dig out the new gemstones that I just acquired here, so... The problem with these filters, to put an end to today's episode, is that the more filtering you do, the more micromanagement you do to yourself. So now we have to take care of also the super valuable gemstones, that they don't get mixed into a wrong bag. It is high effort, but this way we can make sure that the highly valuable gemstones only land on items where we actually want them to be. And personally, I find that very important, you know? So I hope you found that episode today somewhat enjoyable. I know we were a little bit technical today, but, you know, things like these have to happen at some point as well. And yeah, feel free to tell me how you are doing your stuff. I'm really, really keen to hear how you folks are managing things like these. And as usual, feel free to leave a thumbs up on that video. It helps a lot to make it more visible for everybody else. And subscribe to the channel, cheapest way of supporting. And if you want to stay notified, just hit that bell thing and you get a pop-up whenever new videos here happen, which is daily the case. Whatever might be the case, I hope you had a great time and have a great time. And if you want more Dwarf Fortress, playlist links are down below. And that's all I had to say. Have a wonderful day and see you soon.